to back him into a corner. As soon as Goliaths are backed into a corner, that's going to be it. Some turret support though, so MVP wants to be overall very careful because Flash is doing a good job of slowly microing. Just not quite sure of this in the end. I just think this is a futile effort in the end. Only 3 Goliaths at this point. One single factory producing. These battle cruisers, though not in large a number as they were before, still overall pretty good. Not quite sure if he's producing anymore really. MVP has had his number significantly lessened, but he is moving up with some Goliaths from the 6 o'clock position. Flash still producing factories, this time at the inside 9 o'clock, and he's not mining at all at this point. Maybe some gas, but Flash is not mining at all at this point, so whatever he produces is whatever he has. Whatever little bit he tries to produce is going to mine, distance mine at that lower 6 hand, lower 6. But MVP not mining anything. Well, still has I think some minerals at that 6, and some depleted gas there and inside the main. But both players have denied a lot of bases all each other across the map because there are still plenty of resources across the map. It's far from being mined out. Upper corners should still have some minerals, should still have some non-depleted gas. MVP yet again actually going to move towards the upper left-hand position, going to make sure there's nothing there to threaten him, going to pick off all starports and stuff that he finds. I'm going to see the first person view of Flash yet again. Still desperately trying to get some semblance of forces out there, but threatened with those huge battle cruiser fleet, which is not as huge as it used to be. I think it's just even below a command group at this point, but still enough to be a threat. MVP just going the safe route, going up to the upper left-hand position, trying to do as much damage as he can. Is spotting the tanks and the stray battle cruisers out there. Kablam! Oh, okay, dude, wasting way too many Yamato guns on one single battle cruiser. You might want to save them for like picking off tanks and stuff, or Goliaths and stuff. Actually, MVP gonna move out with his own vultures. That's gonna be good. He's gonna allow him to plant down some mines, have a little bit of map control if he has some excess minerals, and also just something to utilize. Can try to come in close and try to do some damage overall. Map control important because battle cruisers are very slow. Vultures, a little bit of an asset for spotting if nothing else. Trying to pick up some supply depots and stuff, but I don't think it's that important at this point because I don't think any player really has that high a supply army. Not that big really. Goliath, just Flash mostly Goliath, still not giving up. Definitely not giving up. He's done a good job of fighting back bit by bit, a little bit here, a little bit there, staying inside the game. And while MVP was killing a bunch of his stuff, he tried to, he went to another place and put up a bunch of more stuff. But still not sure if MVP has. He's allowed Flash to get up way too large a Goliath count, so he still has to be very careful. And he needs some auxiliary units on the ground to those battle cruisers. So it's still going to come up to one big battle. Flash even has Ro8 at this point. Not quite sure they're going to have cloak on that or not. But MVP still, is that more or is that his initial battle cruisers? Or did he produce more? Not altogether too sure there either. I'm not quite sure whether he's actually been producing much of anything, and there's not much going on, and I need oh god, I'm out of orange juice. Oh god, I'm out of orange juice. Do I sound bored? I apologize if I do, but long TVTs is not really how I wish to spend my evening. Not always. Not when nothing's going on. I need a drink. I need a stiff drink, Bob. Stiff drink. The hell's a stiff drink? Mine! Ooh, bam! Kablamo! Flash gonna try to plop down the command center at the 6th o'clock position. MVP's not having none of that. We have vultures. We come in with vultures. We plant down mines. We be annoying. Yes. I don't think he actually managed to plant the mine. Yeah, that's just gonna get cleared up, and Flash still gonna be able to pick up that all over 6 o'clock. And actually gonna lose a Wraith in a heads-up fight against a turret. No, which is silly. MVP meanwhile yet again gonna pick up the mineral only at the, oh god, I laughed like George W. Bush again. But you're gonna pick up the mineral only at the 3, and MVP still actually has Vulture milling up inside of Flash's former main. And I see starports still floating around there for MVP. Still don't think he's been producing any more battle cruisers at this point. Still has that massive fleet out there though. Let's see what's going on. My brain is starting to slowly implode, and my brain is starting to slowly collapse into itself. And it's a little bit, So yeah, Flash still has a pretty large Goliath force on the ground, so he can still engage the battle cruiser fleet. And I'm wondering if this is just going to be one of these players going, you know what, screw this, GG, or whether it's just going to come up with one huge battle. And Flash has done pretty he's shown before against Protoss players and here as well. The micros his Goliath very well, gets those shots off, can pick up a lot of those battle cruisers because after that initial battle cruiser battle where MVP came up far ahead, he had a larger battle cruiser fleet than he has right now. He's lost several of them since that. Being forced to engage fortified positions that Flash has just been tenaciously fighting him back, so pretty good play from there. Both players at this point just trying to get their little bit of mining here and there. Oh, Flash gonna spot that mineral only at the 3 o'clock position with a factory that's gonna get taken down momentarily. Mines. So Goliath's careful, micro against the mines. So pretty good job of micro against the mines. And why were you floating off your command center? I have no idea what he was floating him off. I guess he's spotting the Goliaths coming at him, and he's like suddenly becoming extremely paranoid. Gonna lose a bunch of his starports though. I think he's acting as a partial. Yeah, just gonna try to blockade himself in. Command center actually floating down as well. Wants to save that. Wants to not have to build a new one. I think this actually might just be a way to close the mill so he can get some Yamato guns off across. You can see a lot of his battle cruisers are very heavily damaged. So just a little bit on that will be enough. Gonna start to siege up across that position, across the bridge, and hold it. So these bridges adding on a little bit of an extra dynamic. Flash has another command center flowing up to the inside 6 o'clock position, not mining there at all. Mostly due to MVP being annoying with his mines. Mine. Those lovely mines. Yeah, just, does either player really have any scans left? Pretty sure that MVP has some scan inside of his main and his natural. Not quite sure about Flash. Probably not inside of his main, maybe inside of his natural, but not really much in the way of scans for either player at this point. So if there would be like insane cloaking wraith tech switch, might be enough to get off guard. But at this point, no, I don't know. I'm not altogether too sure. Of course, these players, they tend to utilize the scans very well. Tend to always try to use them to make sure that they know what's going on across the map at all times. You know, they don't use them sparingly. They just scan. Ooh, some Goliaths there losing their lives, and Flash can only afford to lose that many Goliaths, unless that was MVP's Goliaths. Because at this point, I can hardly tell. My brain cannot even. Yellow, brown, both are color that. Both can be the color of poop if you eat the correct food. Yeah, one is normal, one is when you're sick, whatever. Oh god, what this is what TVT does to me. My brain starts to go and I just don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. This should be a professional TVT commentary from Ranch NDA, the renowned commentator, my ass. But at this point, just I'm not seeing whether MVP has the battle cruisers to do this, because the Goliaths are going to come in, some Yamato guns are going to come off, and battle cruisers are just going to start dying here. More Yamato guns are going to come off, but I don't just think this is enough. Some tanks trying to pick off those Goliaths on the ground, and GG from Flash. Yeah, not enough. Tried to go in there and catch him in at the right time, but not enough. Losing the last of his Goliaths. Yamato guns and cannon fire coming in at just the right time. Last little bit of damage. So, yeah. MVP apparently had enough, just as I was saying that they had not enough. But as you all guys know, it's Proof Wrench and Wrong Day. And just with MVP winning Flash in the first hit, it's already Proof Wrench and Wrong Day. So Flash altogether, yeah, like, oh god, I went on and on for that. Ugh. He was in a pretty bad position overall. To try to get himself back into it, but walking into a fortified position, not really something we want to do when your opponent has a bunch of battle cruisers and some siege tanks to kill your stuff. But anyway, that's gonna be it for this one. Of course, as you guys know, I assume as you guys know, we basically get the first set of every matchup in the round of 8 today, or like that today, or it was played, and in a week we get the rest of 2 matchups in a week after that, or even that weekend. I'm not really too sure when it's going to be, but yeah, then we get more. So we're going to see how it goes. Did you guys mention that this listening? Hope you enjoyed. I am oh god, I gotta commentate more, don't I? Damn it.